Hi guys, hope you are all doing well. So in today's session, we'll just see about a small topic called Tracer. So Tracer is one of the debugging tool in Pega, so that we really, we most of the times use to identify the issues. Or if you are debugging anything, or if you are debugging something within the application, or if you want to find the root cause of any kind of issue in Pega. So in that situations, you are going to use one of the debugging tool that is called a Tracer. So let us start off with the tracer. Okay, so tracer will be here within the Dev Studio, and you can also find this in the App Studio as well, and even in the portals as well. Okay, so this is the tracer. So when you click on this, it will open. So this is the tracer tool, which is a component given by Pega Systems in the Pega tool. So here you can see, okay, where you can pass the tracer. This is used to pass or play. So if you click on pass, so it will not trace anything. If you click on play, it will start tracing. So for now there is nothing that is traced because I'm not performing anything. So if you perform any action, so in that situation the tracer is going to trace all the events which are performed by the action. So let's say if I click on this and create some new case. Okay, so here you can see how tracer is tracing the things. So this is how tracer works. And if we click on pass, it will stop tracing. It will pass tracing. Again, if you click on play, it will resume the tracer. Okay. So this is about the play and pass. So if you want to trace it, you can click on play. If you want to pass it for some time, you can click on pass. And then if you want to clear every trace, when you click on clear, so this will clear everything. So now, so how to use tracer is, if you want to trace something, okay, if you want to trace something on click of some button, what's happening, or what rules are getting called or executed, or if any backend logic or business logic is there, if you want to identify what is executing at the backend. So if you want to see what's happening the moment you click the button until the end of the operation, what's happening, if you want to trace, so you can trace it using this particular tracer. So tracer will capture everything, every event, every parameter, every variable, every property, every page, every rule, every step. So step by step, it is going to published in the tracer tool. So the system at the runtime, so it is going to capture the micro nanoseconds of execution. So whatever the nanoseconds, or you can say 0.0001 seconds of a microseconds of execution, or whatever the least execution time which is taken to perform any action is also captured in the tracer. So now I just want to see, like, if I click on this, right? So if I click on this button, what's happening? If I click on continue, it will move to next screen, right? So if I want to see what's happening at the back end, so just click on it, and you can see this is the thing that is happening at the back end of that button. So you can see how many rules are getting called. So it is simply just moving from one screen to another screen at the UI. But if you take a look at the backend, you can see how many lines of executions are there. Almost 4,838 lines. So this is what tracer does is, so this is what it normally trace each and everything from the starting of that click of that button, what it is executing, and till the execution of the code. You can see what's happening. Everything is traced within the tracer tool. So this is one of the big, it's one of the biggest, you can say, asset which is been given for a Pega developer to identify the issues easily, to debug the any complex issues very easily, to identify the rules, to identify the code, to identify the property values, what it is being set and what time. Okay, you can identify the parameter values. So all these you can do with the tracer. So now if you're coming to the explanation part, so here these are the lines. You can see, right? This is the line number 1, line number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many lines are there? That depends on the execution of the whole backend operations. So it doesn't mean there is some specific scenarios or some specific related to some specific rule, but it is completely the whole count of the tracer lines. Each and every line is nothing but, so it is some execution. So it is just counting part. It will increment line by line based on the length of the executions. Okay, so this is the line number which increments one by one, one by one, one by one. And this is a thread on which thread this particular rule has executed, or on which thread this particular rule has executed. You can see the thread is changed. PS4 is a thread on which this particular rule is executed. And similarly, you can see the change of the thread from PS4 to open portal like this. So the thread means in which thread that particular rule or logic is executed. And coming to the main things like step method. Okay, so step method means this is the step where the rule is going to execute. So before discussing these things, we need to discuss this one. This is very important, because if you understand this, then it will be very easy for the rest of the steps to understand. So here the name itself, it's nothing but the class and the rule name. So what rule is executed from which class, from which rule set? This is the rule set. Okay, so if you take, this is the rule name, reload section is the rule name, and @base class is the class of this particular reload section, and this is the rule set of the particular rule. Okay, so in this particular rule, it has executed this particular step. Okay, and this is the step page on which that particular step is executed on particular step page. So that is the name of the step page. And this is the condition. If there are any when conditions, then it will return the true or false conditional names. Like if it is true, this is execution is true, then it will return true. If it is false, it will return false. And this is the event type, where is this the beginning or is this the end? What? And elapsed time, so the time taken for this execution. Okay, so these are all the parameters for the tracer to be used in the real time to identify. So just let us trace. Instead of this overall tracing, I will take one activity and I will just run it. Okay, here I have 2 steps, 1, 2. Okay, so I will run this and I will try to trace this so that you will understand clearly what it is. So now I have clicked on trace, just run it. Some error, let it be. Okay, so you can see I have traced this activity, only activity. So in previous scenario, I have just taken overall tracer so that it will trace the each and everything, whatever you perform, that will trace. But here I just traced only this activity, whichever the activity I'm going to run. So only this one I have traced. So we can see the activity execution started from here. So every time when you are using the tracer, you need to check from the bottom. So where the tracer starts from the bottom and it will end on the top. So step number 1, 2, like this. Okay, so now in this, so here first thing you need to do is you need to check which rule it has picked. So here you have the class name and you have the rule name. So class name is OABPS hyphen banking capability hyphen work hyphen account opening, whereas the rule name is fetch personal info. So this is the name of the activity. So this is the name of the activity. This is the class of the activity, and this is the rule set. So you can see the rule set name over here, ranking FW. So now here you can see the step number. So step number 1. So what is the step number 1 we have in the rule is page new is the step number 1. Method is the step number 1. So here step number 1, you can see the step method. What is the method of that page new? So this is the method name in that particular first step. Okay. Step number 1, method name is page new, method name page new, and step page is personal info. So this is the step page. Okay, on what step you are executing that particular step. Okay, on what context you are executing the particular step. This whole thing is called one step. This is second step, third step, fourth step, like this. So there is no relation between these line numbers and step numbers. These line number is different and step number is different. Don't get confused. Okay, so step numbers are here. So this is step number 1, page new, and then it went to step number 2. What is step number 2 here? Obj open is the step number 2. Let us see in this. Step number 2 is a yes, it is obj open in the step number 2. Step name, method name is obj open, and the step page name is personal info. So the step page name, what is the step page name here? This is the personal info here. And it's the same, rule name is same. It will be common because we have executed the whole activity, right? So it will only take this particular thing. And it went to say after second step, it went to 8th step, step number 8. So what is the step number 8? It is obj save, something is there here. So step number 8, because all these are commented, so it went to step number 8, and it executed obj save with step page as personal info. So obj save with step page. So this is how it will, tracer will trace each and every line of action at the backend. What's happening at the backend will be traced. So you can see all these. So these are all here. It will be the rule names, and it will be the rule set name out here. And this is the time taken, and this is the event type. What is the event type? Is activity begin. Activity means this is the activity rule, and then it is saying activity has begun, and here it is the activity end. So this activity has ended its execution. That's what the activity end is. So this is about the event type, and these are step numbers. So on which step, what is step number? This is the step number. Which step it has executed, you can see the step numbers over here. And you can see the step status. So step status is good for everything, because when this step, okay, when this step is performed or executed by the system at the runtime, so if it is executed successfully without any failure or without any exception, then that means it is a step status good. Okay, when it becomes step status fail is when any exception occurs. Okay, if any exception occurs while executing this step on this step, okay, so then that will be treated as a step status fail, because there is some exception. Okay, there is some step status fail. That step is failed due to something is missing, some exception, unable to open instance or whatever, depending on the scenario or method, whatever you are using. And then here you can check the when rules also. Here you can check the when. So that when condition, you can check it over here, it's true or false. And this is the step page, as you already see, right? So, and you can see a thread name. Thread name will be standard when you're executing in the standalone mode. And so if you click on this page, right, you can see the properties on that particular step page. So you can see the property px object class is this, and pz status is this. Okay, so like that you can just check all those things. So I will try to just run it and again retrace it to see the population of data. So I have already some records. So I have one record over here. So I will just straight away take this. I will give that value over here, run it. So here, this time it is not failed because I have given the parameter. So now page new, so it will create a new page in the clipboard and then obj open. So when you click on this, right, so you can see the data on this particular step page. So these are the property names and these are the values of the properties. So you can see the PXINS name and you can see the Aadhaar number is this, and his age is 22, pin code is this, and so all the mobile number is this. So all this income is this, first name is Rajesh, and all this. So you can find the information during the execution. Okay. So what this method does, basically obj open, so it will open the object from the class. So that object opened will be on this step page. So you can see the data over here. Instead of going to the clipboard, you can see over it. But if you take the page new, there will be no data in this because previously there is no data because you are just creating the empty page with this method. And now you are just opening the instance using obj open, and that will open the instance on the person info step page. So that's how you can just identify the data in the tracer. Okay, what happened, what data is set on what properties, at what time, on what step. In step number 1, what it is set, and step number 8, what it is set, and step number 9 or 10 or whatever. So based on the execution of the particular step, so you can see the data what is being set. So that's how tracer is actually used to identify and what rules are getting called at the backend and what rules are executing. Okay, here you can see in the step number 8 what it is. In the step number 8 we have something which is triggered, right? In the step number 8, so when always some trigger is happening, so some declarative trigger is happening. So this is called the declarative trigger. So when you click on this, that particular rule is getting opened. So you can see the declare trigger rule. So which is called, because I have configured some declare trigger rule on that particular class. So that is why it is getting executed at the backend. So this is also traced. We don't know. Usually when you look into the UI or when we look into the screens from the UI point of view, we don't really know what actually happening at the backend. But using tracer, each and every line of step is captured. You can also see the the conditions, step status fail or good, and the timestamp at what time it is executed, and all this information you can see over the tracer. So this is how tracer is used in the runtime to identify the issue where it is actually occurring. To debug any complex issue, we can use tracer to trace each and everything. So this is the beauty of the tracer. So whatever you want to trace, whatever you want to check what's happening at what time at the backend, you can use this. So here we have a settings option. So settings, here you can choose the types of rules. Here if you don't want to see, or if you don't want to trace unnecessary rules, like you have case types, automation, asynchronous activity, alerts, decision data. So if you don't want to see those, or if you don't want to trace those in the tracer, you can uncheck them. Whatever you want to trace, okay, you want to trace decision table, yes, you can check. If you want to trace decision tree, you can check. So if you don't want something not to be traced, you can uncheck this. So these are the flexibilities which are being given to the developer to easily trace the things. Instead of if you check all these, right, what happens is ideally all the things will be executed, and it will take much time to identify in the lines whatever you need to trace. Let's say if you want to trace any uh, you know decision tree, okay, within the tracer. So if you put all these things, so if you want to check line by line or even the events, So that will take a lot of time. So instead of doing that, you will uncheck whatever the rules that are not necessary for tracing. You can check here over here and you can trace. And these are the rule sets you want to trace or you don't want to trace. It's up to you based on the rule sets. So these are all the Pega rule sets. You will have application rule sets and organization rule sets as well. So if you don't want to trace some Pega related rules or Pega related rule sets related code, so you can uncheck all these things as well. And here events to trace here is, so if you want to trace activities, you can check start and end. And if you want to check data transforms, trace data transforms, you can check. If you don't want, you can uncheck. So all these and exceptions here, you can break the tracer. So whenever if you click on this, what's happening is what happens at the runtime is, so that particular tracer, it will stop the tracing as and when any exception occurs. So it will not trace rest of the steps. That's what it is. And here you have a local variables and other things. So if you check this, you can check all these. I mean, in the trace, you can check all these things which will be traced during the runtime. So these are all the settings of the tracer. And here you have remote tracer if you want to trace from the remote system. Your system is in different server and you are in different system, but still you can trace your application. If you want to trace something, you can trace using the remote tracer. So this is how we will use tracer during the runtime, which is very important debugging tool in the whole Pega application or Pega platform. So guys, this is about the tracer. If you have any questions, just please do let me know in the comment section, and please do share the videos and subscribe for it. So if you want any kind of topics, or if you really eager to learn any kind of new things, so you can post in the comments so that I can go through, and if I get any time, so I can just actually make it for you guys. So keep watching guys, keep supporting, and that's it from my side. And thank you so much for watching this session. Thank you.